What's up, everybody? I'm back again with another disc golf video. This time it's the in the bag, not the on the shelf. This is my shelf, this is my bag. I gave a few preludes, something like that, to what would be in my bag, what I'm carrying to, I guess, to end 2023, start of 2024. I'll talk about the discs that I think will be in the bag long term, some that might get kicked out. Without further ado, let's get into it. We'll start with the bag itself. It's the Squatch Link, the Ezra Squatch Link. I love this bag. I've had it for like a year and a half now. Just does everything super well. The only thing that sucks about it is it doesn't really have a good spot for a big water bottle. Like, I can fit two regular ones in this cooler that it comes with. It comes with a cooler, which is pretty cool. I haven't really utilized it to its full potential, but I can fit two regular water bottles in here, but a big one, like a Stanley cup type of deal, I can't fit one in there. That's the only qualm I have with the bag, so far at least. Let's get into the disc though. I've got minis, I've got a marker, I got other discs on this side too, but we'll get into them at the end. I guess we'll sit here and kind of go over what's in my bag. So we'll start with my putting putters. I currently have two in the bag. I got two Lunas. As I said, I'm a Luna guy. This is my main putter. I've been using this one for over 2 years now. This thing is amazing. I don't really throw it. I'm afraid to see what happens if I throw it. So I putt with it. It's dead straight. Works in C1, works in C2. Great for just straight jump putts. That's what I love using these for. This is just a backup, and I have plenty more. Just because it's important to get practice reps when you're out playing casual rounds. You don't want to just do one putt, because then you're only putting 18 times in a round. It's kind of pointless. So those are my putting putters. Couldn't recommend the Luna anymore. I love the Luna. For throwing putters, I've got quite a few here. Throwing putters, and I guess we'll do approaches as well. So for throwing putters, I have my most over, or we'll go with my most understable. I've currently got the PA5 in the bag. I've actually got two PA5s in the bag. All my discs are dirty, by the way. So this is kind of frustrating. So I got two PA5s in the bag. I got this PA5 and I got this PA5. Shout out to the doctor. I got two PA5s in the bag. This one I love. This one's great. It's kind of beat in, but I love the plastic. This, whatever plastic it is, which I don't know what it is. Can I find out? Nope. So there's that PA5, and then this one's new to the bag in the Spectrum plastic, Kayla Visca. This one's a little more stable, so I like throwing this one too. The thing I like about the PA5 the most is they do have some carry to them. I could probably throw them a little over 300. You know, a hyzer flip to turn and turn over. Good in the woods, good in the open, dead straight. And I can also putt with them if I wanted to. They feel good, even in premium plastic, they feel good putting. So they're very versatile. I would say one of these will probably get kicked out at some point, just because I don't need two in the bag. We'll see which one makes it. Probably the Doctor, because it looks cooler. But chances are one of those will get kicked out for something else at some point down the line. As I find a need, maybe I'll put the Tune back in the bag. Maybe I'll put like a Berg in the bag, something like that. We'll see. I would say next step down, or next step up, I should say, would be the Glitch. This is like, put it on whatever angle you want, it's gonna throw. And this is a more overstable Glitch, apparently. This Simon Lizotte Glitch Run. I'm gonna bend down again. I like being in the camera. This is the Glitch. This thing, I can throw it up to probably like 300. If I put on like a slight bit of hyzer, I can throw it on like this much hyzer. It stands up, glides forever, and then has like a nice little finish at the end, which I really like. You know, it's not understable. It's not going to flip over on me, but you also have to have good form when you're throwing it, which is a good disc to have because you have to learn to throw. People say it's gimmicky. I don't really think it's gimmicky. I think it's a good disc and it works, especially in the woods. You know, that's a big thing with throwing putters. I want to be able to hit lines in the woods. That's what this disc does for me. It's very versatile, so I can do a lot with it. So that's why it's in the bag. I actually have it in the one problem I have with the Glitch, this Glitch specifically, and I guess it's plastic. It warps very easily. So I used to have it down here in this pocket, but it warps. So now I have to have it in the top pocket with my Lunas, and it shouldn't be because it doesn't deserve to be with the Lunas. Another disc that doesn't deserve to be with the Lunas, but is the Penrose. I was talking about this in the shelf video. This is my main one. This is my overstable wind fighting putter. So if it's really windy, especially like a headwind, or if it's just windy in general, crosswinds, whatever, I'll pull this disc out to putt with. It's probably one of the most overstable putters out there. that is purely for putting. But it also throws really well. I have it in the OG base plastic, and this still works to throw. And it's like, if you throw it, it's nice and straight, but it'll always hook up a little bit at the end. So it's a nice in-between between my glitch and my zone that I have here. And I like the zone. I love the zone. Shout out Anthony Barella. This is a good forehand disc. It's a good backhand disc. It doesn't really get thrown as much as it probably could or should, just because I think I'm not good enough yet to make it workable for me. I kind of like, I don't throw on Annie much, so it's like flat and then it fades, or I'll throw it on hyzer and have it like a looping hyzer. But it's a little more stable than what I would typically throw, like the Penrose. I can trust to carry it straight a little bit more, whereas this one might hook up a little early compared to what I want it to do. But it's good on forehand, good on backhand. I like it for forehand approaches, of course, but as you'll see, I kind of have a bit of a battle going on for that forehand approach slot. And that's where these other discs come in. So the zone is like the straightest forehand approach, even though it does hook up at the end. It's not one that I can like scream with Annie. I can't put it on like a heavy Annie angle and trust it to come back. It's kind of glidey, which is nice because I used to have a Berg that I would do like high Annie flicks with. The zone can kind of do that. It does fade a little bit at the end, but it still gets really good distance. But when I want something where I can throw a little bit on a harsher angle, I use the Anvil. I like the Anvil. This disc is really good for throwing hard Annie, but also getting some good distance. I can probably throw this and get about 250 to 260 with the Anvil on forehand. Backhand, I can throw it. I really don't find myself in situations where I would have to throw something like an Anvil as compared to like a zone, because I can just put a zone on hyzer as opposed to the Anvil. Maybe if I skip shot or something, I can use the Anvil, but this is mainly for forehands. It might end up kicking the zone out of the bag. We'll see. But they do different things, which is what I like. This one is, I can throw it on more Annie. It's going to fade harder. It's more overstable. Therefore, I like it. It's also got a good hand feel too, which is always important when you're throwing approach discs. And then the most stable one would be my Ricky Wysocki Slammer. It's actually signed by the two-time. This one is temporarily in the bag, I would say. I used to throw Slammers as my main approach disc, but I kind of fell out of favor with them. I was throwing them nose down forehand. Pretty much forehand exclusives, the Slammers. I don't really throw them backhand. No reason to. My issue with the Slammers, like I said, they don't really glide a lot, which can be good and sometimes bad and sometimes. You know, it's a good disc. It's a good disc. I'm trying to make it work in the bag right now. It's back in the bag for now. I'm trying to make it work so I can have hopefully a permanent home for it as an approach disc. The problem is there's just so much overlap between the three of these discs that there's no reason to keep them all. So eventually I'll just have to find one and make it work. But for now, I've got all three of them. This is good for like those up to like 200 to like 210 type of shots. Maybe like up to 200, I'd say. A little bit more, I'd probably trust an Anvil or a zone more because I can throw it slower. Whereas I have to really power down this. But I like how I can throw this on Annie. I can throw it on hyzer. I can throw it flat. But I also like using it for my shorter approaches because I know there's not going to be much ground play with this as compared to like a zone or an Anvil where it might skip away from the basket when I'm trying to almost pin it at times. So that's a Slammer. So those are all my throwing putters now. For some reason, oh, there we go. It's kind of not fit. I've overloaded this bag, by the way. So now we will get into my mid-ranges. And I'm currently bagging 5. I'm bagging 5 mid-ranges. We'll start with the most understable, which is the West Side Terces. This disc is not, I don't want this disc to be in the bag. It's in the bag because I lost my Midnight Prowl Origin in the summer. I don't have any other understable mids, so this is what's in the bag for now. I hope to replace it at some point soon. I just don't want to spend money on an understable mid. We'll see what happens. It's a good disc. It does what I need it to do. It's just a little flippier than I would probably want it to be. But it's good for the woods. Helps me practice my flip-up backhands, turnover backhands, Anheuser backhands, whatever. So that's why it's in the bag, because I need an understable mid because it's going to make me a better player. It helps me with touchier shots, so it's going to make me a better player. That's why it is in the bag, because it's going to make me a better player. My next least stable would probably be the Meteor. I have an ESP Meteor. I actually have a new Meteor coming in soon, so this one will probably sit on the shelves, unfortunately. This will become a backup. But what I like about the Meteor is it's good hand feel. It's shallow, and you really don't have to throw it hard for it to glide. And I will compare it to this Comet that I've been bagging since the spring of 2023. The main difference between the two of these, I would say, is the Comet actually kind of goes far. The Comet probably goes like 330 on a good straight backhand. The Meteor maybe just about the same, but the Comet is just dead straight, like as dead straight as you can get. But it's a little touchier, I would say. Like it's kind of like a Nova, and the hand feels a little weird, but it's kind of like a Nova or like a Luna, where if you throw it bad, it's gonna be a bad shot. So that's the tough thing with the Comet, is you can't throw it hard. You have to throw smooth. You have to have good form if you're throwing a Comet, whereas a Meteor is a little bit more forgiving. And I'm hoping this should become more understable. There's not much of a difference between the two right now, so there's not really a reason to have both in the bag. But the reason why I have both is because I want to beat this one in to become a little bit more understable, so I can replace the terses with it. So there's a lot of tinkering going on in the bag right now in terms of trying to get discs to work for what I want them to do. And it's the off season, so I have that luxury of doing so. I would say my straight to stable mid is this Lucid Ice Orbit EMAC Truth. Bought this one in at a disc golf store on the way back from Maple Hill. Compared it to the Pathfinder at Fairfield University disc golf course. I threw the Pathfinder in a lake, so this one won by default. And I love the plastic. This is probably my favorite plastic in terms of hand feel. This Lucid Ice Orbit. It's nice and grippy, even in the cold. And the Truth is just, it's got a good hand feel to it. Feels nice for my power grip. You know, this thing, it doesn't go as far as I probably would want it to. It doesn't glide as much as I would want it to. I would say it's more like a 4.5 speed than a 5 speed, to be honest. But what I like about it is it's dead straight with a little bit of fade. It's a very workable mid-range. And so I think this will have a long-term place in my bag. I don't see this disc coming out of my bag anytime soon because I prefer it to the Buzz. So that's why I think that disc will be in my bag for a long time. But one disc that I think will always be in my bag forever is my Pyro. This is probably besides the Luna and my old Heimberg Destroyer that I lost, this is probably my greatest disc of all time. This thing has been beaten into perfection. This is dead straight forehand with some finish at the end. I can throw this on Anheuser, not at full power. If I throw it on Anheuser at full power, it will pan to the left. Forehand, by the way. It'll pan to the left before coming back. So it does have a little bit of turn to it now. This thing goes probably like 280 on forehand. I can probably push it 315 on backhand if I really wanted to. I could probably throw it about 315, 320 on backhand. On a backhand, it's dead straight with a nice hook up at the end. Always going to come back. It's not going to turn over ever, which is what I like. This disc has no desire of getting replaced in my bag. It's always going to be a mainstay, and when it ends up becoming beaten a little bit too much, I'll just buy a new one and I'll keep both in the bag, because this disc is kind of beaten into what people would expect like a low reactor to be right out of the box, I would say. So those are my mids. How much time do we have? Not much before I run out of battery. We'll go into my fairways now. At this point, we're just kind of gonna run through. That's a fairway, that's a distance driver, this is a fairway, this is a fairway, this is a fairway, this is a fairway, and this is a fairway. Okay, we got all my fairways here. We'll start with the least stable one. My least stable one is a utility disc, so we'll go over that in a little bit. So my least stable one of the ones here is probably this Essence Zen that I have. I really don't throw it much. If there's a disc to be replaced, it's probably this one. It's a great disc. I can probably throw this close to 400, but I just don't have a need to because I throw distance drivers. It's a weird speed that you don't really know what to do with. So it's a good disc. It flips up, it turns. I can throw it flat. I can throw it on Baby Heiser, and I can get a really good flight out of it. Just don't really play courses that have a demand for it. But it's good to do field work, good to practice, of course. I would say my straight mid is this Birdie Strike. This thing's been in the bag since the spring. Nice and straight, workable. You can do whatever you want. Forehand, it's a little iffy. It has to be a flip-up forehand. It can't be a straight or a turnover forehand. Like, I can play with it in the woods with an Anheuser angle, but you can't put too much. You can't throw with 90% power. It's just going to flip and burn. So it's good for backhand. Another disc that I really don't use too much because it's just, I don't really throw fairways. I prefer mids because mids are more workable. So I don't know what's going on in my bag right now, but these are not working. Anyways, the next one up would probably be this Proto Athena, which is stable. Just nice and like, this is the perfect 7502 that you can think of. Flies straight, more stable finish than the strike, and it will always go left. Now on forehand, not torque resistant at all, but on a backhand, this thing's money up to like 330, 340. I don't have to throw it hard. It's got the perfect hand feel. Like if there's ever a disc that has a perfect hand feel for a fairway, this is it. I love this disc so much. This is a disc that probably will not get replaced in my bag anytime soon. So this and the Pyro and the Truth are probably 3 discs in the mid-range and fairway slots so far that I would not replace at all in the slightest. One disc, however, I could be another disc actually that I would not replace. Actually, this one, we'll do this one first. This is a Discraft Undertaker ESP. Just put it back in the bag. I did some field work and I really liked it. Super straight up to like 330. It's like a longer distance, Athena or Truth, if you want to call it. Dead straight finish, workable. I can do whatever I want with it. It's a good disc. I really like this disc. We'll see if it survives. I like the Dynasty too. Dynasty is a good disc in that slot. I got another disc coming in soon that might compete with it. 9 speeds is always like that stable 9-speed is always a disc that you can kind of mess around with and find something new any given day of the week. And so we'll see what happens with that. Then I have this Halo F2 Thunderbird. It's been in my bag almost 2 years now. It is beat to perfection. I can throw it on forehand. It's going to turn. It's going to fade at the end. It won't really burn. I can throw flex shots with it. I can do whatever I want with this up to like 330. I love this disc. It's a Hall of Famer. It's never coming out of the bag. This thing is great on forehand. I love it. And it's solid on backhand too. It always hooks up at the end, but it's not ridiculously overstable. It is what you would envision a Thunderbird should be. Now, this is a slot that gets replaced very often. This is like my Firebird slot. I'll sit on my air conditioner here. It's my Firebird slot. I have the ATI in it right now, the Madio. I threw it most of the spring and summer, took it out for the fall. It's back for now because it's what I wanted in this slot. We'll see if it survives. Really good forehand and backhand. It's not super glidey. It's pretty stable. Not ridiculously stable, but it's pretty stable. So it works in that slot. And we'll go over the rest of the discs that these compare to at the end. And now we'll get into like all of my my distance drivers here. Got all these distance drivers here that I like to throw. Okay. Flippiest one, without question, is this one. It's the Wild Honey. The Wild Honey is a roller disc thrown on any amount of not extreme hyzer. This thing gets a full flight. It even fades at the end too, which is nice. So you do get a little bit of fade. It's not going to burn every single time. But if you don't throw this high enough, there's no point in throwing it. I really don't throw it all too much unless I'm throwing a roller or I want to go like as max distance as possible. But I have plenty of space for error and to do it with, where I can afford to take a risk like that. It doesn't get thrown often, but it's in the bag because why not? The next flippiest slot would be this iBlend Pharaoh from Infinite. This thing gets a full flight. Pretty flippy. It's starting to get a little bit flippy. I would say this is my bomber disc. If I had to pick a bomber disc, this is the one. This is a slot that gets replaced pretty frequently, but the Pharaoh's in a nice slot for now. Can't see it getting replaced anytime soon, but you never know. But they're cheap, so I'll probably just replace it with another one. Good disc. Really enjoy throwing it. Feels good in the hand too. So I enjoy throwing that, so I can't see that really leaving the bag. The next flippiest would be this Discmania DD with this stamp on it. Friend gave it to me from another friend, something like that. And this one's flippy, but this one is like your perfect like full flight S turn and fade. It's a good disc. Not guaranteed to spot in my bag. Kind of overlaps with the Pharaoh a little bit, so I wouldn't be surprised to see it kicked out. Then I have my 2 DD1s. This white and red one is like my straight to understable. Yellow one is straight to stable. They complement each other very well. This is like my workhorse driver. These probably won't leave the bag anytime soon. The only disc I could see replacing it would be like the Wraith or the Grace if I ever choose to try something new. but these discs are pretty stable in the bag. Like they're secure in the bag. I can't see them being replaced. And then my big driver is my silver lat dyed Rive. This thing is awesome. Big on forehand, can get up to 400 on a forehand, probably up to 400 on a backhand as well. Super workable, great on Annie, super good on hyzer for spike hyzers. Really workable, good disc. I'm actually getting another one soon. So that's my workhorse driver. And real quick, I will go over my utility discs. I have 4. This one doesn't count. This is a Wild Honey. I'm just testing this one out. It's gonna come out of the bag pretty soon. Super flippy, diamond. This one's really light. I bought this like 2.5 years ago. Super flippy. I like the Leopard 3 better. I have a DX Leopard 3 down here in my shelf that will probably end up just kicking back out. Really good though in the woods. You don't have to put a lot of power in it. You can throw it on Annie, do whatever you want with it, make rollers, do whatever. Super stable fairway, Captain's Raptor, of course. This thing's board flat. This is what I wanted the whole time. I wanted something this stable. I could throw it on hard flexes on both sides and it will come back 100%. I could throw this up to like 300, maybe a little bit more. Great disc. I love it. Put it in the bag recently. Can't see a way it ever comes out of the bag. Good for forehand rollers too. And finally, my golden cloud breaker. This is my super, it's like the PD2. It's like your super stable distance driver. I know this is going to hook up every single time. Throw it on hard flexes if I need to get around dog legs, mandos, lakes, streams, rivers, whatever it might be. Something I know is going to reliably fade backhand or forehand. Forehand, I can probably get this like 350. Backhand, I don't really throw it backhand, but I could probably throw it like 330. My forehand's a little bit stronger right now, but this is a staple in the bag. I can't see it being replaced at any time unless I lose it. It's not replaceable. That's a disc that's not really replaceable. So that's my bag for 2020, for end of 2023, start of 2024. Maybe I'll do updates like every few months. So like right around when the season starts, I guess the tournament season, I'll start anew. I will give you guys an update on what's going on in the bag, and I will hopefully stay in the loop this time. I have a tendency not to make these videos when I want to. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll see you in a few months for another disc golf video.